Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly dose of truth tarot. This is for the week of February 20th to the 26th. So what we're going to look at today is whatever the cards want to tell us. Okay, so I'm just going to select cards from wherever in the deck here this is drawing me. And we've got 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords tells us that there is definitely something trying to shift this week. And this is mostly going to deal with your belief systems, with beliefs. Thoughts can be a huge part, but of course your thoughts are based in your belief systems. Very often, and I'm not talking about thinking something through, I'm not talking about thoughts that are involved in, let me assess this situation, let me make a plan, but thoughts that arise in the mind. And sometimes you could even look at self-analysis and analysis as problematic, right? There's a study that was talking about, sorry, I don't have the reference for it, but you could look it up online, wherein thinking about your problems makes your problems worse. And if you look at it in a sense of, let's say, Eastern mysticism, if we look at a thought and we start to analyze it, we break that thought up into 10 different thoughts. Then we start analyzing each of those, and those divide up into 10 different thoughts for each of the thoughts. So we end up producing more and more thoughts, and they might not be well thought through. And usually they're in conflict with each other, right? The way we usually think is, well, if this is a situation, here are the pros and here are the cons to the situation. And we think this is how we're going to make a decision in our lives. When a lot of those formulations are based in the belief systems that you grew up with, that I grew up with, and how do we kind of explode through those belief systems? Well, one of the ways is doing actual self-inquiry, and that's a whole process. You could join me or many other people in the world who do self-inquiry, and that really helps you out. So it's not an analysis, there's no psychology involved. It is really the evolution of asking a clear-cut, simple question and then answering that question in a clear way. You might have seen Krishnamurti, Ramesh, many books where they ask this clear question and you get these sometimes very long answers, but some of them are very short, like just see the they're ontological rather than going off into an analytical sense. So 10 of Swords usually says, hey, this might be the ending point of this analytical, grouping of thoughts that are in the mind that tend to seek our attention. So 10 refers to you're at the culmination, or we are all at the culmination of this. So if you think of the situation politically around the world, you think about these one side versus the other, one side versus the other. This isn't where I stand, where one side is versus the other. We want to stand in a place where we're in the vertical. And the vertical is that all is happening all at once. And understanding that we can be in a space where we see, we can see the value of both sides, which is fine, but even then, if I see the value of one side, right away I can contradict it, and I can see the value of the other side and I can contradict it. It's almost ridiculous. It really starts manifesting like all of these thoughts. When we're in the vertical, we come from a very, very different space. That is the 1-0 of the 10 in the mind. So that one is that it's kind of this alpha, omega, everything all at once. So it's really stepping out of the polarized thinking and understanding that the poles are going to exist, and I don't need to be pulled between them. So one of the famous phrases is that walking the tension of opposites between the two sides. That's what we need to experience is understanding, well, both those things are going to hold validity depending on the circumstance. Both things will be valid. Like something could be good and bad at the same time. So this is referring to, because we're referring to the world here, all of us are included. We are coming to the breakdown of this. Let's see what goes on next. I don't know why I keep being drawn here, but let's see. This is good. This is the King of Wands. So here we've got the Alpha Omega going into the masculine. So it looks like in the present, the masculine needs to be the one who's going to really embody the balancing of the two sides. The masculine is going to do that. I did not say men, by the way. Please listen. A lot of people don't listen. That when they hear masculine, they hear male, man. No, masculine is within each and every one of us. Feminine is within each and every one of us. The male is the male body. The female is the female body. And we can say that the female holds 51% feminine energy and the masculine holds 51% masculine. So the balance is 49 for each. That is not a lot, which is also validated by psychology. The big 5 personality test shows that we are not the big 5, but in psychology, most people understand that men and women are more similar than they are different, which is so, yes, that makes a lot of sense. But those differences, even though it's a tiny bit, a little teeny little bit, 1% on each side, that difference will allow us to deal with things differently. Maybe we'll evolve in the future where none of this will make sense. But right now, as it stands in the world, feminine and masculine are in this realm. Now you could say, oh, it's changing. It's changing. Yeah, you might, but not necessarily. It doesn't, you could look around, do your own studies, but even all the things going on right now with people changing, they're always changing to the other, right? So what does that mean? You can say, oh, I feel more feminine today. I feel more masculine. I can do this. When your sixth chakra is working really well, that's the third eye chakra, that chakra will be able to look within and you will feel yourself going between the masculine and feminine. So even as I'm talking, there are certain parts that I need to access left brain information, like those statistics, and sometimes I screw it up because, my right brain just goes on and on and on. It just very feminine, just does what it does intuitively, and I just want to say everything. But sometimes the left brain comes in and goes, hey, you need a few facts in there, chickie-doo, which, I'm not the best at. I'm more able to deal with this is deciding to fall over. Oh my goodness. All right. Now what do I do when this is falling over mid-camera? All right. Let's see. Okay, I'll hold it like this. I'm going to hold it in place. All right. So our last card is the Ace of Cups. So it looks like the thinking process that we go through needs to run through the masculine. The masculine's got to balance this out. The masculine needs to support it. The masculine needs to work through it. And it will come out through the heart or water. This is about love and affection. This is about caring. This is about the law of emotions. I mean, the law of attraction, but also of emotions, the world of emotions. Sorry, not the law of emotions, the world of emotions. So the mental must go through the masculine, the mental body, or the mental, let's say, trash or poop in here, needs to transform. This is a transmutation process through the masculine and then come out through the heart so that the emotions, the love, even when you look at the Ace of Cups, that is the horn of plenty. It's the masculine that is going to supply that. Now, what I find interesting here is usually the feminine is more involved in the emotional world. The female body and the is more readily able to adapt to high levels of emotions and hormones, because we give birth to babies, we're able to take care of kids, all kinds of stuff. And we have surges of emotions, that have hormones that will bring this abundance of emotions. But in this case, why would I choose to say, well, it's more about what the masculine is going to do? It's to regulate the mental body through the masculine so that the emotions are able to assimilate it, but also love needs to come forward. Now, we also know that, the feminine is disruptive and the masculine is orderly. So you could put it this way, that the mind is being sorted through by the masculine, who puts it in order so that we have clear love. So if you look at the world and how we are all acting in the world, let's say, or what's going on around, like your personal situations, you might have difficulties. Generally, things can be okay, but in certain places, generally, like the collective around you or the collective in the world is going through some chaos. This is all over the world. There's a lot of chaos. There's economic difficulties, economic hardships. People are going through difficulties with their governments, and they're trying to leave to get to better places like the United States of America, Canada, Europe. Everybody's trying to go to these countries where things are more in this vein, where the chaos gets sorted through and that compassion and love are there. So when all of this is going on, you could say, well, there's a lot of disruption going on. There's a lot of difficulty in the world. How am I going to sort through that so that love is truly compassionate and it is not disorderly. It is not running through the disorder of the chaos brought by the mind. So it's telling us that the masculine is the one that's going to sort us through that. Now, there are a lot of other ideas I have in my head, but don't know if they're going to be interesting to talk about. But those of you who have feedback and understanding on this, where you begin to see, okay, how is this masculine going to work it through? And by the way, by the time this comes out, we'll have done a class on, it'll be on this, it would have been on Tuesday, on Pinocchio, the masculine. So we'll see from that group too what goes on, and maybe we'll have a nice little extension from this work. All right. Thanks very much. Have a great week, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe. By the way, Bird had to go back home. The wildlife grouping, these people decided that he wasn't supposed to stay. So my birdie had to go back home. And I'm all alone down here. And he's with his family at home, the rest of the family. So you won't be hearing him chirping or seeing him coming around for a while, but we'll still include him in our little videos. All right, have a good one. Bye.